All right. So the outfield that a lot of teams were after in a trade, including the Yankees. Bryan Reynolds, who I've talked about for a year or two, has just agreed to an extension with the Pittsburgh Pirates. $106.75 million for 8 years. And that's not even $14 million a year. So this is like on the cheap. It's really on the cheap. And I mean, talk about a valuable extension for them. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to Bryan Reynolds. It's overdoing the rest of the contract until he hits free agency. So I think the extension either starts now or next season. But it's an 8-year, $106.75 million deal. So takes him off the market. He's done. Now, with that said, the Yankees have had some good performances. They've also had some frustrating performances. And I do think there's a couple of things that Cashman, the GM, could actually do right now to help the team. Okay. And, I want to go over this, and really quickly. And he's partly to blame, not all to blame. Neither is Boone. Players need to be held accountable too. These guys pay a lot of money to play and to perform, and they're not doing that. And as much as it's convenient for a lot of folks to blame Boone and blame Cashman for everything, that's not the way I do it. Okay. I like to actually try to find come up with constructive feedback and try to find solutions to problems wherever possible and to bring value to the conversation and the content itself. So I hope you don't mind that. That doesn't mean people can't be frustrated because fans are frustrated. A lot of us are frustrated with the way the Yankees are playing right now. But let me give you a couple little tidbits of information. Okay. I'm going to give you a couple of frustrating stats and then a couple good ones to offset that. These are offensive stats. And again, where we thought the Yankees were going to be a strength, they're a weakness. And where we thought they would be a weakness, they're a strength, pitching. Their OPS right now, 697. That's 18th in baseball. They're scored 94 runs so far as an offense, 22nd in baseball. And their batting average is 225, 27th out of 30 in baseball. Now, a couple of bright spots. Their runs against. So they scored 94. They've given up 78 runs. That's second in baseball. Also, their ERA is 3.16. And this is a rotation that does not currently include Carlos Rodon, Luis Severino. You got Domingo Germán, Clark Schmidt, and Johnny Brito occupying 3 spots. That's led by Gerrit Cole and Nestor Cortes, and still managing a 3.16 ERA. Second in major leagues. That is impressive. So I got to give a shout out to the rotation for that. And we'll see how long they hold. Obviously, Rodon's not scheduled back now. It sounds like June. Severino's not scheduled. He might be back in another week or two. So we're getting good feedback on Severino. So hopefully sooner than later, and then hopefully they'll continue to help this rotation. And in terms of bullpen, I got one piece of news for you too. Lou Trevino, who was acquired here on the Frankie Montas trade, is experiencing elbow discomfort, so they're sending him back to New York for tests. Doesn't look good there. They could derail his whole season. But on the bright side, Tommy Kahnle, the other IL'd reliever, is with the Yankees now, working out, and it looks like he'll be back sooner than later. So he might be back within the next week or so. So bright spot in there in the rotation to help offset the not so bright spot in terms of Trevino. Now, let's pivot over to Cashman. Is there anything Cashman can do right now? Because at the end of the day, the offense looks lifeless. It looks just clueless and hopeless at times, right? And there's obviously guys that aren't here yet, like Harrison Bader. There's also guys that are hurt, like Giancarlo Stanton and Josh Donaldson. Guys are going to be away for a while. So, but is there anything that he could do? I'd have loved to have trade for Bryan Reynolds, but he's completely off the market now because I think he would have been a perfect leadoff hitter and solved quite a few problems, or helped solve quite a few problems to help him and help give this lineup a little bit more versatility and balance. But that's a thing of the past now. So, is there anybody in the farm that he could call up as potentially throw some energy and some athleticism and some life into this lineup? I think so, because there's 2 candidates also who look like they're turning into DFA candidates. They were off to hot springs, okay, in spring training, and they got off to a good start this season as well. Franchi Cordero and Willie Calhoun. Unfortunately, it looks like their run as Yankees is probably coming to an end, okay? And good players, good dudes, good teammates, and I enjoyed watching them, but they're, at least 1/3 or almost half of this lineup it looks like it's becoming dead wood, if not already dead wood. And we obviously other players as well. And obviously, I think our biggest hope as a fan community, a frustrated fan community, is to DFA Hicks before other folks. But the financial commitments that come along with it are making it a little bit more difficult. And again, high payrolls don't mean shit. Okay, pardon my French, but look at the Mets. Their payroll's almost 100 million more than the Yankees. Doesn't guarantee them anything. They got their asses handed to them by the Padres last year, and their payroll was almost 100 million higher than the Padres. Doesn't guarantee anything, just like it doesn't guarantee anything for the Yankees either. And yeah, they didn't make any big offensive additions, with the exception of giving Aaron Judge the historic contract after his historic season. So no surprise there. But what else is there? What else are they missing? And that's why I'm going to mention two names that I brought up recently: Jake Bauers and Elijah Dunham. They're both in AAA. They both hit lefty like Franchi and Willie Calhoun do. So there's a similarity there, which is a good thing. Help balance out this lineup, which is heavily righty. And again, Dunham is a toolsy player. He can hit from speed, contact, plays solid defense as well. Bauers does similar things. He just displays a little bit more power output. And he's got 8 home runs this year, right? Or 9 home runs, something like that. So they could bring, and again, there's a familiarity. They've played with Anthony Volpe. They've played with Oswald Peraza. They've played with Oswaldo Cabrera and some of these other guys. So they're familiar with the Yankee way, the Yankee system. They're Yankee farmhands now, even though Bauers, I think, was acquired also in a trade. But they're familiar with the Yankee system now, okay? And it would not require a complete roster upheaval to get these guys here. If they DFA those two guys who are already on the 26, meaning they're already on the 40, and they replace them with these two guys, nothing has to happen. They don't need to make a trade for a player from another league or another team who may not be able to adjust, like a Joey Gallo wasn't able to adjust here, and they might have to give up. They might not have to give up a lot of prospects to make that happen. So Jake Bauers and Elijah Dunham are two guys I would really consider. And if they somehow move on, decide they want to move on, again, keep in mind, Hal overrules Cashman, who overrules Boone. So at the end of the day, it's Hal who decides to eat the money or not. It's not Cashman or Boone. So, and until that happens, I don't know if Hicks is going to be moved. But if he is, I would definitely encourage them to DFA and move on and create another roster spot. And hopefully at some point bring up Matt Crook, another lefty arm for this bullpen, who I think the Yankees would be wise to bring up, particularly in my opinion, as a compliment to Wandy Peralta. And with his ability to throw multiple innings from the left-handed side and miss bats would be a welcome addition to this bullpen, who's majority righty. They've been good, don't get me wrong, but a taxed bullpen is going to be a tired bullpen, and then when they're taxed and start underperforming, then the burden's going to go to the starting rotation and the offense. And if they're not ready to pick up, their end of this, it just creates problems. We've seen this problem with last year, and seen this problem in 2021 with the Yankees too. So they have to be careful. They have to be careful. So, but at the very least, I would hope that they consider these two moves. And I want to know what you think. You think it would be wise for them to try calling up some of these kids, give the kids a chance, particularly ones that are on an absolute heater right now. Okay, they might bring some swag and some production that the Yankees haven't had before. Some energy might change the dynamic of this team as well. So another injection of youth, just like the Yankees had when they called up Aaron Judge and Tyler Austin in their first game. They both homered in back-to-back in their debuts. A jolt of energy that the Yankees and the Yankee fans loved. I think the same thing can happen now. But again, let me know what you think. If you're not subscribed to this channel, you just want good, honest, consistent Yankee content and talk, and whether it be breaking news, lineups, post game, because we get real in the post games, especially the live streams. We talk about it. Fans vent their frustrations and all that stuff, and we try our best to come up with solutions to some of the problems. And that's what I like to do. I don't like to just pivot and just blame the same people all the time. I don't find any value in that. I like to try to bring value to the conversation, elevate our conversation, which makes our community a special one. So, and I want to know what you think one way or another. You don't have to agree. You can disagree. It's okay to vent and all that stuff too. But if you're not subscribed to the channel, I hope that you enjoy the stuff enough to do that. And if you enjoy the content, hit the like button as well. I thank you for that. But Jake Bauers, Elijah Dunham, two prospects here. Do you think they deserve a call-up based on their production? And should they be replacing Calhoun and Franchi. And I understand if given the choice, fans would want to DFA Hicks. I totally get it. But again, that decision is going to come from Hal at the end of the day, right? Or Hal and Randy Levine, whoever the hell else decides these things. But Hal writes the checks. So is that going to happen? I have no idea. I hope that they do, because it looks like they need to kind of have a parting of the ways, unfortunately. So, and bring up some guys that really show that they want to be here and bring some energy and life to this team that's missing quite a bit of it right now. I love what Volpe's doing. I love what some of these other guys are doing, but they need more of it. They need more of it. We're not getting the production we need out of even our veterans, our high-priced ones. Just like it's okay to criticize Cole when he's not pitching well, it's okay to criticize Aaron Judge when he's not hitting well. He's the captain of his team, makes $40 million a year. There's no get-out-of-jail-free cards. Not on this channel, not from me. And I will not start giving them out anytime soon. So, but, that's what I got for you. Let me know what you think. And the Bryan Reynolds extension caught me off guard. I'm disappointed, but it is what it is, right? He's going to be with the Pirates. And hopefully Jason Dominguez turns out to be just as good or if not better. So let me know what you think, gang. And I'll talk to you all tonight.